Next up, I'm going to make hummus, and this is something I make on the stove. I have 1.5 cups of cold water, 1 cup of garbanzo bean flour, 4 tablespoons of tahini, ground tahini paste, 3/4 of a tablespoon of sea salt, 1 large clove of garlic pushed through the garlic press, and 4 tablespoons of lemon juice. To start with, I'm going to put my water cold in a pan, and I'm going to add the garbanzo bean flour. This flour can be purchased at specialty stores. You can look in your health food section. It's usually in like a 2-pound bag. I think it's easier to use than the canned garbanzo beans. You just need to add it like that. I'm going to take it back to the stove. I'm going to put it on medium. And as it's on the stove, I'm going to whisk it to combine the water and the garbanzo bean flour. You don't want to boil this. You just kind of want to thicken it, like kind of like pudding, maybe a little thicker. And at that point, that's when we're going to add our other ingredients. See, it's just incorporated. It'll get a little foamy from the mixing together, and just let it sit a little bit. You don't have to constantly stir it, but it's not something you can walk away from and start something else. You kind of have to hang here at the stove. I know it's hard to see on camera, but it is starting to thicken up a little bit. You can see a little bit of it sticking to the bottom of my whisk. I want to make sure the top part of this is thick as well. So I'm stirring at a little bit slower pace. It's hard to give you an exact cooking time for this because it depends on your stove. Gas stoves cook a little quicker than electric stoves do, from my experience. I did turn up the heat just a notch. It is thickening. You can see lumping up down there. But I'm going to stir it slowly to keep it from sticking to the bottom. As you remember, this was just my garbanzo bean flour and my water. And if it gets a little, you can see some lumps in there, that's fine. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove it from the heat, and I'm going to go back to the counter. Next, I'm going to add in the tahini paste, which is, as I said before, just ground sesame seeds. You can find this usually in the Middle Eastern section of your supermarket, in the International. And I'm going to add the lemon juice, and I'm going to give it a quick stir, because we don't want it to seize up or harden up on us. It'll make it a little looser, but that's okay. You want to be careful how hard you stir this, because you don't want it splashing back at you. And next I'm going to add the salt and my garlic. It is a little thicker, so I'm just trying to get it all stirred in there. It will be a little lumpy. Sometimes it comes out completely smooth. It's just the luck of the draw. This is one of my favorites. I like to just dip crackers in it. I like to spread it on pitas. I like to have it in pocket pitas with roasted vegetables or grilled vegetables and some feta. And I kind of like to spread it on bread like you do peanut butter. As you can see, it's a little thicker. I'm going to put this in a different dish, and go find out what Dwayne's doing with his grilling of the lamb skewers.
Okay, now that our lamb has had time to marinate, it's time to put them together on the skewers and then get them grilling. So we've had the lamb marinating now for about, I say about 5 hours. So here we go. I've already done most of them. I'm just going to do a few for you. You're going to take your wooden skewer and just go ahead and thread on one piece. Now I'm going to take a cherry tomato or a grape tomato, and I'm going to put it in between each cube of meat. And the reason I'm going to do that is I want it for a spacer so that the heat gets around the entire cube and cooks the cube evenly. If you put the cube together, the two cubes together like this, you're going to have a raw part in the middle between the two cubes. So I'm using the tomatoes as a spacer, and they taste good too, so that's just fine. So let's see, that's going to be one skewer, and my last one, right like that. Space them out a little bit, and now we're going to go ahead and place them on our grill. And I'm going to have enough for all four of my skewers. And close the lid. So today on the dish we had our Greek fest, and we made our marinated lamb kebabs. And what I did was I grilled those here in the house instead of out on the grill, which you can perfectly do. It's perfectly fine to do that. We also made a side of what's called tzatziki sauce, which you can use to drizzle over the lamb skewers. You can eat them just like that. Or if you're going to eat the lamb in a pita, you can put the tzatziki sauce in the pita first, put the lamb skewers inside of it, put the lamb inside of it, take the skewer out, and you can eat it as a sandwich. What else did we make?
I made the tabbouleh salad to have, and I also made the homemade hummus, which is spreadable also on a pita, or you can use it as a dip. They're all wonderful together or wonderful separately. We would pair this with a Pinot.
Pinot Noir would be a good wine to put with this, or if you were just thirsty, you wanted to have a nice cold glass of beer, that's absolutely fine, goes with this just well. So all of the recipes will be on the website, which is crazygoodfoodtv.com. Thank you for joining us today on The Dish.
And we'll see you soon.